everyone to the Bradley Center. We're in downtown Milwaukee, the home of the Bucks, where we'll be broadcasting today's live action. Happy holidays, everyone, from all of us at 2K Sports. And do we have a present for you today? For Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan. Welcome to NBA basketball. And now a quick check of our starting lineups for both teams. And guys, checking out Pekovic here. What can we expect from him?
Well, you talk about strength and physicality at the center position. Pekovic is right there with anybody. And he's got an imposing game. Reminds me a little bit of Marc Gasol in that regard. He can use that strength to power you down low, but he's also got some skill as well.
You know, that's an interesting comparison. I love how he always battles, Steve. A terrific offensive rebounder, gets a lot of stickbacks, very tenacious. Taking a look at Minnesota. What a story right now for these guys. Win after win. It's been a phenomenal stretch.
Well, this team is a lot of fun to watch. Everything seems to be going their way, but they're making their own breaks now. They're taking advantage of situations and opportunities, but they're doing everything right at both ends of the floor.
Yeah, they've been putting on a clinic, Clark, and it has been fun to watch. And with all the calls and bounces that have gone their way as well, it just seems like this is their time.
And, there's a whistle. He was going up for a layup, and while it looked like there was some contact, I wasn't sure they were going to call it a foul shot or not, but sure enough they have. So we've got a couple of free throws coming up. Sanders hits them both.
Surprisingly, the Bucks were one of the better teams from the East against the West last season, 14 and 16, which was better than most teams in the East, and part of why they were able to make it into the playoffs.
And plenty of contact on the shot, so 2 free throws coming up. Going back to the Bucks. With their small backcourt, they could have nights where they could just run teams to death, and they were able to take advantage of a few teams like that.
Well, the main thing is that they weren't afraid of anyone. Ellis and Jennings would just try to run the ball down your throat. But in the end, it wasn't a combination that the Bucks felt confident with, and that's why they were willing to let Ellis and Jennings go.
Smith kicks to Middleton. Milwaukee, no good that time either. Minnesota with the ball. It's a 3-point game. This game against Milwaukee here, it's their first look at the Bucks.
These two teams are effectively strangers to each other. Only 2 meetings all season. This is their first one, and then they'll play one more down the road.
So, Clark, as Steve was saying, they don't see each other that much. What does that mean as you analyze it to the approach that a team takes coming into a game like this?
Well, you know what? It probably means they don't have specific game plans tailored in a detailed manner for each other, so you have to go back to your general principle a little more when you play an opponent you're not as familiar with, and you also then would have to make more adjustments on the fly, I would think.
Looking at the last game for the Minnesota Timberwolves, it was a win against Washington.
And Kevin, in that game, we saw a lot of sloppy play from the opposing offense. They coughed the ball up way too often.
Yeah, and that did make things really easy, guys. Nice to get a win if you're on that side of it and not to have to work too hard for it.
Like at 6. Here's Z, and he dumps it down. The defense looking a little bit dazed now. A ferocious throw down there.
Not bad for a player of his size.
Not bad at all. How about that spring coming out of those legs?
Now here's Sanders. Right now averaging 7 points a game. The kick out to Mayo. Feeds to Ilyasova. And the shot clock expires. 24-second violation.
You know, in Larry Drew's case, it was a bit of an unusual situation once the season concluded. He was in the final year of his deal. The Hawks said we'll interview other candidates and left him free to interview for other head coaching positions, and he landed in Milwaukee.
Second foul of the first quarter. They're probably going to have to sit him down here to try to avoid number 3.
Well, speaking back to Coach Drew, of course, he ended up signing with the Bucks.
Well, that was an interesting move for him to go from Atlanta to Milwaukee. The Hawks were one of the better defensive teams in the league last year. I think that's what the Bucks saw in Drew. And that's the idea for him to really help this team get the most out of its players, particularly defensively.
Now here's Mayo. His last outing, 16 points for him. Gets the bucket.
The first bucket for this offense, 1 of 4 to start the game.
See the pass to Martin. On the wing, Brewer. Back to Martin. Passes to Z. A dish now to Brewer. Nice jump shot. Good. Brewer's got his first basket.
Talk about a great start. 3 of 3 from the field to get the game going. They're cooking with gas, folks.
Knocked away. And now Minnesota on the fast break.
Boy, what a fantastic opening quarter for them.
Yeah, it sure has been. Look at the lead they've jumped out to already. Impressive.
Right now it's good to Doris Burke, who spoke with Rick Adelman. Doris?
Kevin, I talked to him about the shot blocking they're certain to face in this matchup. He's certainly cognizant of it, and he told me this. If we can play a little more up-tempo and score before their bigs can recover, that will help. Also, getting them on the move in the half court, whether with ball movement or screens, will also serve us well. Kevin, if they can execute, they'll have some success.
And Doris, as always, thank you. So, Steve, do you agree with Coach's game plan here, given how tough the D is that they're going to go up against?
Yeah, I do. I mean, a huge part of your game plan has to be focused on their D. And I think he's right to put that much emphasis on it.
Yeah, I agree with you guys because they are that good defensively, so you've got to worry about that. Just game plan for that. And then trust that your guys will execute what needs to be done. You know, it was a hot start last season for O.J. Mayo in Dallas, guys. A lot of people wondered if he finally turned the corner and become the star that people would expect it when he was the 3rd overall pick back in 2008. But his hot shooting wore off a bit, and by the end of the season, Coach Carlisle was starting to question his effort.
Now, here is Martin. Right now averaging 11 points a game. Brewer, 6 on the shot clock. Here's Pekovic. Soft touch off the glass.
Boy, where was the box out? Too easy on that second chance opportunity.
Yeah, no box out is what happened there. Those kind of mistakes on the glass will kill a team.
And for O.J. Mayo last season, still some positive signs. A career high in three-point percentage, one of the better years from the field. And I think the Mavericks really enjoyed him on their team.
Well, it seemed on the whole that the year went very well for him. He opted out of the final year of his deal. He picked up a new multi-year contract, so we'll see how he continues to develop. And the next foul will put them over the limit and in the bonus.
A chance to get some easy points at the line here, so it makes sense to be aggressive.
Outside Williams. Bangs home the trifecta.
Defensively, this team is just giving up way too many open looks.
You're exactly right, and to battle back, they've got to shore that defense up, Steve.
Now, here's Sanders. Bucks passing it around, and the shot is good.
Another nice bucket down low. They've really been able to work the ball into the post effectively so far.
Yeah, I think that could really set things up well the rest of the game. Pound the ball inside and then let your perimeter players play off your bigs.
Here's Martin after the made shot from Sanders. Out of bounds, Milwaukee takes possession. Here is the list of players with the most boards in the league this month. The NBA's leading rebounders. And you look at Sanders, 3rd in rebounding, and what a physical presence inside.
Boy, has he been strong down by the rim, seemingly getting every rebound.
Now, here's Sanders. Here's Middleton. Right side, Mayo. He drains it as the shot clock ticks down. Mayo's got 6 points.
Defender a little hesitant to offer resistance as he bursts to the hoop. Well, Minnesota won 31 games last season, but only 11 of those came on the road. For a team that was battered and bruised heading out on a lengthy road trip is often a recipe for a losing streak, and that was the case for them last year. The injuries just really balled them down.
Here's Brewer, and again, Minnesota with the triple.
I couldn't have dreamt of a much better start than what they've had here today.
Everything's working, especially offensively, and what a lead they have already to show for it.
Tries to save it. Smith dishes to Mayo. And Derek Williams is going to pick up the foul. That'll be his 2nd foul of the game. He's picking up again on the Timberwolves. Road travel can be especially tough on just given the geography where their home city is in relation, Steve, to the rest of the NBA.
Well, particularly in relation to the rest of the West, because, you know, there the Timberwolves are up north.
And here in the second quarter of action, with a 2.5 minutes played so far.
How about that, basketball fan?
Beautiful.
Wow. Tell you what, he's going to put that one in his scrapbook. absolutely insane with that dunk.
Well, now they're starting to rev it in, aren't they? Have to build up the lead, and here we go, folks. It's showtime.
And why not? I mean, the more plays they make like that, the more they'll have these guys on the ropes.
Ilyasova and Sanders in the middle. Walters out there with Mayo. And it's Middleton in at the 3 spot. That's the 5 on the floor for the Bucks. Timberwolves leading by 9. Outside Williams. Dishes it to Muhammad. Z, defended by Walters. They get the rebound. Pekovic passes to Z. Ball's not loose. And they're on the break. Smooth as silk on the finger roll.
Now the shots are starting to fall a little bit more than they did in the first quarter.
And they say it's not how you drive, it's how you arrive in golf. Well, a shaky start can be overcome because now they're starting to heat up.
Muhammad the pass to Z. The kick out to Williams. Off the wide, Minnesota. Pass to Z. Changes up. Tries again. Shot is blocked. Here's Walters. Covered by Pekovic. The kick out to Mayo. Now the feed to Ilyasova. To Mayo. Front past the arc. Good. Mayo's got 9 points.
D there, guys, was pretty much non-existent. I mean, you can't leave a good shooter like that open.
Z, defended by Walters. And it's good. On through contact, hits the shot. He'll go to the free throw line.
He's very savvy in traffic. When he gets inside, has a kind of an uncanny way of shielding himself from contact and finding a way to finish at the rim.
That's true. And his spectacular shot blocking, something else to look for, especially recovering on the break. He can run you down and send it away in a heartbeat.
Milwaukee making a switch. Smith is checked in. Ilyasova up top. Down low. Sanders. And he goes up strong with one hand and flushes it down.
Tell you what, Kevin, they'd love to see him get a lot more of those opportunities.
Clark, that deficit will go away quickly if he does.
And I like the way he capped that drive off, guys, with the one-hand punch.
And Pekovic kicks to Brewer. Z. Outside for Martin. Just 5 on the clock. Minnesota needs to get off the shot here, but they'll get another chance. And the basket by Brewer. And Milwaukee has possession. They trail by 7. Coming off that loss against the Nets.
Yeah, they look totally disjointed. And sometimes you have a night like that. Nothing goes in the basket. It's just pure frustration.
Well, you can call it any number of things, Steve. Disjointed, disorganized, discombobulated, dysfunctional. Any of those would fit.
That's going to be over at that. Not watching for the line that time.
I had a chance to check out some of the stats for Larry Sanders. He's been a standout for them the past few weeks. The numbers show it. First in rebounding. And he's in the top 10 in the league in blocked shots per game. So he's a real force in the paint defensively.
You know, we rewind back and look at his incredible rebounding average, and he's actually a beast in the paint. I mean, when the shot goes up, he really believes it belongs to him if it doesn't go in.
Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with Doris Burke. Hey, Doris.
Well, Z in the last matchup against the Wizards really lit it up from the floor. He finished with 57 points, and along with what he did on the offensive end, he also played some stellar defense as well. What a show it was as he put up some really amazing numbers when it was all said and done. Even we marveled at his performance, Kevin.
All right, Doris, thank you. He played at a level that very few players are capable of playing for.
Yeah, I agree. I was just glad I got a chance to witness it. It's always such a special night when a player of his caliber gets so locked in and focused.
And you know, in an 82-game season with so much talent, every once in a while, everything's going to click. And that was definitely the case that night. I thought Corey Brewer enjoyed his best season in his NBA career last year in Denver, thriving in that up-tempo system, using that length and athleticism defensively.
No good from Z.
That's terrific defense right there to prevent from converting in close.
And there's a whistle that goes on Z. That's foul number 2 for him.
That's his second personal foul. If he gets another, it probably puts him on the bench for the rest of the first half.
Johnson, he's checked in for the Timberwolves. Ridnour dishes to Pachulia. Cut the bucket. Udo's got his second bucket of the game to go. And for Corey Brewer, defensive specialist primarily, but he has shown some flashes offensively as well.
And that's been the key, Kevin. We knew he could defend at a high level. Now the question was, could he produce on the offensive end of the floor?
Z the pass to Williams. Z covered by Smith. Just 5 to shoot. Uncovered, and the basket good. Brewers got 9. Bucks trail by 7.
You know, the Wolves were just decimated by injuries last year, and it really put a snag in their season from the start, with Rubio still recovering from his ACL tear and Kevin.
And guys, let's get your take on the hustle stats for the Timberwolves.
They've come out in attack mode defensively, applying pressure and stealing the ball repeatedly.
They've gotten their fair share of points off turnovers so far tonight, too. Already he's looking at his third foul. I think the coach will probably look to sit him down until the third quarter. Well, the Bucks playing here at the BMO Harris Bradley Center, one of the older arenas in the NBA at around a quarter century. And the Bucks have said they'll leave Milwaukee after the 2017 season unless a new arena is built.
And the Timberwolves making a change here. Buddinger's checked in.
Phenomenal alley-oop slam right there, guys.
They're taking advantage, Clark, of a team that looks lost out there.
Yeah, this is threatening to get kind of ugly out here.
And Neal kicks to Middleton. He dishes it to Neal. He feeds it to Ridnour. On the pass to Neal. Finds the bottom of the bucket from 13 feet out. And back to the arena situation here in Milwaukee. This is one of the smaller markets in the NBA. Steve, that can make it tougher to get an arena done.
Well, there's a potential change in ownership that has loomed over the franchise as well. Obviously, we all want to see the team stay in Milwaukee. A lot of great history here going way back. So hopefully an arena deal will get done.
Kicks it to Udo. He passes to Neal. Neal gets a screen from Udo. Off the pick. And it's another Milwaukee shot right there going in.
Shooting much better here in the second quarter.
Yeah, their offense has really come alive. Can they come back and even it up? That's the question.
He kicks to Barea. Passes it to Z. Puts up a 3. Kept alive. Second chance shot. Can't get the layup.
You know, typically, guys, he has the body control to finish when he's in that tight. I'm not sure what happened there.
Smith with it. Now guarded by Barea. Rejected by Brewer. They retain possession.
We haven't seen them get to the free throw line like they did in the first quarter.
Well, you can't get to the line if you're going to settle for jump shots. I mean, somebody's got to be aggressive and take it to the rack.
And the Timberwolves making a change here. And both free throws good for Udo.
Well, after a brief 2-year drought, the Bucks got back to the playoffs this past season, but it wasn't pretty once they got there. With several guarantees from players about upsetting the Heat, they didn't win a single game and were swept by the Miami Heat.
Pass to Z. Feeds it to Barea. Takes a 3. Ilyasova comes up with the rebound. That's tipped. Here's Ridnour. And released it in time, but it's off the mark. And we've reached halftime in this one. Minnesota on top. They're up by 7.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
Glad you're spending Saturday night with us. Let's check out what's happened so far. Minnesota is ahead against the Bucks at Bradley Center. They look to continue their winning streak. Z making it happen again tonight, coming off their win against Washington. He's got 17 points, and he's been able to provide some nice assists as well. And the Bucks still in it, going all out. They've been relentless attacking the rim, dominating in points in the paint, and the bodies down low have been banging away. Larry Sanders giving them a nice boost. He's got 8 points and has helped out a bit on the boards as well. And now we send you back to the Bradley Center for the start of the second half.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
The second half just about to get going here. What a game we're seeing from Z.
And all of a sudden tonight, he's become their big assist man. And his passing was the key to their offense in that first half. Not something you always see.
And that's not a role he usually plays, and one I'm not sure he's comfortable in, but they needed him to make some plays today, and to his credit, he's done it.
All fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineups courtesy of Gatorade for the second half of basketball. So on the floor for Minnesota, Z, he's in at the point. Derek Williams is out there, Pekovic. Then there's Martin, and it's Brewer in at the small forward position.
That's a familiar sight. He hardly ever wastes his chances at the line. Cashes in regularly.
Mayo dishing to Smith. And that'll be Milwaukee if it goes out of bounds. Bucks retain possession. Here is Ilyasova. He's been patient so far, nothing yet on the scoreboard. Pass to Middleton. The dish to Ilyasova. Down to 5 on the shot clock. They get a hand on it. And that's out of bounds. Milwaukee will retain possession. And with this break, why don't we check out the hottest shooting point guards over the last month? Well, you look at Z, leading the league in field goal percentage. He always gets good looks.
And that percentage is what you'd hope to get from one of your big men. To get from a guy who spends most of his time on the perimeter, though, and that's phenomenal.
Yeah, Steve, he has been a laser. That's what coaches call dead-eye shooters, lasers. His number one job is to create looks for his teammates. But as you can see by that percentage, he's just as good at creating high-quality chances for himself.
There's the bucket. Good. Z's got 21.
It is so hard to contain him. He just seems to get it done however he has to do it.
Smith off a pick from Ilyasova. Dishes it to Mayo. And there's the whistle. Foul hard on the shot. He'll go to the line. That one on Martin.
O.J. Mayo is out of USC. He's in his 6th season in the NBA, fellas, and he was considered the top player in his high school class. Very, very highly regarded. He's yet to be a star at the professional level, but I think he's looking to solidify himself as a quality starter.
And let's now go to the sideline. We'll catch up here with Doris Burke. Doris?
Hey, Kevin, at 6'11", 290 pounds, Nikola Pekovic may be the most physically imposing player in the game. Rick Adelman said, quote, he's such a force inside. Guys just want out of there. They don't want to go against him. Pekovic said, the goal is to go inside and win the game, whatever it takes. Many people don't like when you play physical. Some respond, some don't. Kevin?
And he does. Thank you, Doris.
Well, he's a player who knows his game. I mean, he's a physical enforcer type guy, and he makes no apologies for it.
The drive by Smith. Poked loose. One-on-one fast break. Bucks trail by 7. And for O.J. Mayo, 6'4" player. Some people saw him as a guy who could play point guard, shooting guard. He's just a player. Mayo with the screen on Pekovic. Now with it. Out guarded by Buttinger. Here's Ilyasova. And finally they hit one. They got on this roll a while ago, and they just haven't looked back. C, defended by Wilson. Here's C, rejected by Udo. Here's Walters, defended by Buttinger. And Walters kicks to Mayo. Doubled by Muhammad. The kick out to Ilyasova. Rejected by Muhammad. There's the feed to Ridnour. Clock at 4. Goes back up. And it's wide right. It's off the rim.
And he continues to search for his rhythm. It's eluded him to this point.
Z, guarded by Mayo. The shot's good from Z. Z's got 23. And guys, let's get your take on the hustle stats for the Timberwolves.
Their defense has been outstanding, Kevin. Closing out on shots, blocking a lot of them as well.
Something that's also benefited them tonight are the turnovers they've forced and the points that have come along with those forced turnovers.
Here's Udo. That's good. Udo's got 8.
They have got to put a body on him, because otherwise, with his agility and athleticism, they're not going to be able to contain him on the offensive block.
Mayo left side. He dishes it to Ilyasova. Makes the lead pass. Walters. The feeder roll finish at the bucket. Walters got 5 points now this quarter.
Well, they've done a great job of getting into the middle of that defense and scoring in the paint.
Well, that's why they're on this run, guys. They're getting the ball inside and getting really high percentage looks.
Milwaukee's gone into the three-point range 4 times since halftime and buried 2 of them. 46 seconds left here in the third quarter. Ridnour from outside. No luck. And Minnesota will come the other way. Following this one, they get to host the Mavericks. Start a 3-game homestand with that game.
I'll be anxious to see what ends up happening with that Mavericks game, guys. That should be a good one.
Guys, we know it was a struggle last season for the Timberwolves, but against the Eastern Conference, they were pretty competitive. Nearly had a 500 record against teams from the East.
Here's what Minnesota's going with right now. Derek Williams checked in for Muhammad. Brewer comes in for Chase Buttinger, and it's Martin in for Alexei Shved. And here is Ridnour. 6 points for him. Here's Middleton, and that's out of bounds. Milwaukee will retain possession.
Now that pass had just a little bit too much heat on it for him to make a clean steal.
Yeah, I think it would have been a tough catch for either of them.
16 seconds left in the third quarter. Shot clock at 2, and they force the shot clock violation. Great team.
You cannot afford to make mistakes like that here in a tight game.
11 seconds left to play in the third. Here's Z. And the release was before the buzzer, but it's off target. We're at the end of the third.
Make sure to reserve your copy of the #1 rated.
And thanks for joining us again as the fourth quarter of play is set to get rolling. It's been a close battle to this point. Ilyasova and Sanders in the middle. Mayo out there with his Smith. And it's Middleton in at the 3. That's the 5 on the floor for the Bucks. Mayo off the pitch from Ilyasova. Mayo the pass to Smith. 5 to shoot. To Mayo. Misses off the left iron. Minnesota in the lead. In low to Martin. It's stolen by Smith. It's stolen. Here's Z. And he takes that one up and powers it through.
Textbook example there of how to use defense to create offense.
Yeah, beautiful transition play after the steal all the way to the basket.
Wasted no time going from defense to offense.
And it feels like they're starting to pick up the intensity as the game itself starts to get a little more tight and close.
Smith dishes to Mayo. The Bucks working the ball around. Shot clock at 5. And it goes as the official calls the foul. Count it. Shoot one more at the free throw line.
Around on his rims or racks there. It's up and in with the finger roll.
Doris Burke has an update for us. Doris?
Yes, Kevin. Well, Rick Adelman had some advice for his team over that last break. We can't let up now. If we stay and make a few plays, we'll be right back in it. His message is clear. Stay the course, Kevin.
What a top-notch game he's having. He's gotten them in front, and it sure seems like he's going to keep them there. All by himself, it looks like.
Smith outside. And we've made our way through just over a minute and a half in this fourth quarter. They set the pick. The kick out to Mayo. Mayo left side. Shot to the... It's going to be a 24-second shot clock violation. They turn it over. Chance now to check out the schedule for Milwaukee. Well, they've got the Lakers ahead of them after this game. And the next game, it'll be played in Los Angeles. It's game 1 of a 3-game road trip. Williams kicks to Begovic. Kevin Martin on the wing. There's the pass to Z. Doubled by Middleton. Outside Williams. He feeds it to Begovic. Back to Williams. Pass to Z. Lets it fly. It's rebounded by Ilyasova. Ilyasova's got his 5th rebound in this one.
This game has been very close in a lot of areas, but rebounding is one thing that they've been able to dominate.
Yeah, they chase down that pumpkin often.
Sanders with the ball. Mayo drives in. The kick out to Ilyasova. No good that time either.
Easy look there, but, you know, he misses those once in a while.
But they get it there. Pekovic passes to Martin. Z. Outside for Martin. He passes to Brewer. Shot clock at 6. Z. Covered by Smith. Outside Martin. Over Ilyasova. And O.J. Mayo pulls it down. Mayo's got 4 rebounds now tonight. And there's a whistle that goes on Z. That will be foul number 5 on him.
Boy, it's been a tough go in terms of fouls for him. I mean, my goodness, he can't stay out of the way of foul.
3rd minute of action now gone here in the 4th. Here's Ilyasova. Makes it off the glass.
It hasn't happened as quickly as he would have liked, but he's finally putting some points on the board in this game.
Pass to Z. Kicks it to Martin. Feeds it to Brewer. A feather touch on the finger roll. Beautiful. And the Timberwolves lead by 3.
And he's made the most of his chances, hasn't he? Really needs to continue to work for those good looks.
He kicks it to Middleton. Smith outside. Pass to Sanders. Mayo drives in. Fades back. Minnesota with the rebound. Williams has got his 4th rebound with that last one here tonight.
I don't know if it's just me, but he's looked a step slow since the start of the quarter. His shooting has really suffered.
Lets it go with a 3. And that one's good. And now a 6-point Timberwolves lead.
A wide open 3. They need much better communication defensively.
Mayo dishing to Smith. The feed to Ilyasova. Ilyasova sets a screen for Mayo. And it's good. The time running down in the shot clock. Mayo's got 5 points in the quarter.
Maybe the pressure, the weight of expectation starting to sink in now as he looks like he's second-guessing his shot, not letting it go with the same confidence we saw earlier.
Martin against Mayo. Martin the pass to Z. 5 on the clock. It's stolen by Smith. Here's Middleton, covered by Brewer. Smith kicks to Middleton. Wide open. Yes, and it's Smith with the assist that time. Now just a 2-point Timberwolves lead. The pass to Z. Excellent defense there from Smith. For Milwaukee, they've gone 4 of 8 in this 4th quarter, shooting an even 50% from the field. A look from Mayo. Again, Mayo missing.
What was the defense doing there? I mean, he is not the guy to give an open look to, and yet they got away with it.
The Bucks shooting 44% in the 4th. The offense with some ups and downs. Now the dish to Smith. To Mayo. They grab their own miss. Sanders. Misses the layup. Yeah, with that bump fake.
You know, he can be a little hesitant near the rim. We saw it there. If the defense offers just a little bit of resistance, he doesn't take it up quite strong enough.
Well, the one thing that you have to have in basketball is big men who can protect the rim, and that's what Sanders does. He's willing to go up and block shots, really patrol the paint, and protect that rim area.
Yeah, you know, but there's nothing easy in the lane when Sanders is on the floor. Always have to be looking over your shoulder if you plan on putting up a shot with him around. Ilyasova dishes to Mayo. He feeds it to Ilyasova. Passes it to Middleton. 5 to shoot. to tie it up. That is good. Middleton's got 5 points now this quarter.
Looked like there was a little confusion there as to who was supposed to be guarding him.
Begovic with a screen on Ridden. Here's Brewer. Another miss by Minnesota.
He's not exactly striping them from deep. He had 1 3-ball in the first half, still bageled in the second.
Ridnour passes to Middleton. Sanders with a screen on Williams. Here's Mayo. Here's Sanders. And that misses. That would have put him up. Minnesota's gone 1 of 2 from three-point range here in the fourth. Here's Z. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact and he'll shoot 2.
You look at the game so far for him, 34 points, and he's stolen the ball 4 times.
We are seeing him at his very best today. So much fun to watch.
And you know when he's at his best, it's amazing the things he can do.
Is Smith. He's checked in for Milwaukee. Mayo kicks to Smith. Another steal. Here's Martin. And he lays that one in.
Good job there recognizing the mismatch and then just going straight up with the shot. He's got a major height advantage.
Smith kicks to Sanders. Dishes it to Middleton. He passes it to Smith. Just 5 to shoot. And lots of contact there. Chasing the shot. He'll shoot 2. Williams. And so he's picked up his final foul. And he will sit for the rest of this game. J.J. Barea is checked in for Derek Williams. No good on the second free throw. He dishes it to Barea. Pass to Z for 3. Good, and it's Barea who picks up the assist. Barea's got his 7th assist here tonight.
Now that's his second three-pointer of this half. Looks like he's starting to forget about that poor first half he had.
Mayo drives in. Kicks to Ilyasova. To Mayo. Launches a 3. Here's Sanders. A second chance effort. There's the block. But they recover it. Here's Middleton. Sanders, covered by Begovic. Goes up again. And it's off the back rim. No good.
You know, he just hasn't looked right to me a bit. I was sorts of something's off with his mechanics. At least as I look at it. He's finding all kinds of ways to get it done. What a quarter he's having. Well, their worst fear came true. This is still anyone's ball game, but losing him the foul trouble will make it at the 1 for 2.
Tonight you had 5 steals. It seemed you were constantly getting into the passing lanes, knocking the ball loose at will. What exactly got into you?
I don't know, man. I was just feeling pretty locked in on the defensive side of the ball, and sometimes that happens. It's like you're a step ahead of everybody else, and you just know where the ball's going to be, you know? Biggest thing, though, is that we got to win. I can get 0 steals or 10 steals. Don't matter to me as long as we get that W.